A routine traffic stop is typically a mundane affair, an everyday interaction between law enforcement and a motorist. However, on January 25, 2025, in the quiet town of Lady Lake, Florida, such an encounter took a dramatic and unexpected turn. What began as a routine check for a suspicious license plate quickly escalated into the apprehension of Donald Eugene Fields II, a man featured on the FBI's 10 Most Wanted list. This incident serves as a compelling case study in fugitive apprehension, illustrating the unpredictable nature of police work and the intricate methods fugitives employ to evade justice. The initial encounter, red flags and deception. Body camera footage from the responding officer provides an unfiltered look into the moment that set everything in motion. From the outset, subtle but telling inconsistencies in Fields' responses raised immediate suspicion. His hesitant manner, the uncertainty in his answers, and discrepancies in his documentation quickly drew the officer's attention. When questioned about the vehicle, Fields claimed it belonged to his employer, a man named Joe. However, he was unable to provide any verifiable details about this supposed owner. Compounding the concern, the license plate did not match the vehicle it was affixed to, further fueling the officer's suspicions. When asked for registration and proof of insurance, Fields struggled to produce any valid paperwork, exposing a pattern of evasion rather than mere forgetfulness. The situation became even more suspicious when the officer discovered an expired Missouri driver's license bearing the name Walter Richard Long. On the surface, this might have seemed like an unrelated identity issue, but further scrutiny revealed a startling fact. Walter Richard Long had passed away in 2021. This raised an urgent question. Was Fields deliberately using the deceased man's identity as a cover? Identity theft is a well-documented tactic employed by fugitives seeking to vanish from the grid. By assuming the identity of a deceased individual, a fugitive can effectively mask their presence, making it significantly harder for law enforcement to track them down. The fact that Long was also from Missouri hinted at a carefully calculated move rather than a random act. Fields had likely chosen this identity with a specific purpose in mind, using it to remain undetected. Trained to recognize patterns of deception, the officer's questioning became more precise, methodically unraveling Fields' story. The suspect frequently responded with vague statements or outright refusals to answer, often repeating the phrase, "I don't know." This kind of response is a well-known red flag, commonly associated with individuals attempting to obscure the truth. Law enforcement officers are specifically trained to detect verbal and nonverbal cues that indicate dishonesty, and in this case, Fields' behavior only reinforced their suspicions. The moment of truth, identification, and shocking revelations. As the investigation intensified, the focus shifted toward determining Fields' true identity.
There you go, that's good.
Oh, that's all right. What do you want to do?
Officers checked the vehicle identification number, VIN, while simultaneously running a fingerprint scan, an essential step in confirming whether they were dealing with an imposter. It was at this moment that the situation took a dramatic turn. The fingerprint scan revealed an unmistakable match, but not to Walter Richard Long. Instead, the name that appeared on the system was Donald Eugene Fields II, an individual who had been eluding authorities and was one of the FBI's most wanted fugitives. Realizing the gravity of the situation, the officer's demeanor shifted instantly. What had initially seemed like a routine traffic stop had now transformed into the capture of a highly sought-after criminal. The tension in the air became undeniable. Even Jennifer Ann Fields, the woman accompanying Donald, appeared to recognize that their time on the run had come to an end. Witnesses described her as visibly shaken, seemingly preparing herself for the inevitable. A crucial detail further confirmed Fields' identity: a tribal tattoo that matched the description provided in the FBI's Most Wanted bulletin. This was the final piece of evidence, leaving no doubt that they had apprehended the right man. However, the discovery that followed added an even more dangerous element to the unfolding situation. During a subsequent search of the vehicle, officers uncovered a loaded Taurus Millennium G2 pistol concealed under the center console. This revelation significantly escalated the level of risk present throughout the encounter. Fields had been armed the entire time, meaning that at any moment, the situation could have taken a deadly turn. Law enforcement officers are acutely aware of the potential for violent confrontations during traffic stops, and in this case, the presence of a firearm highlighted just how close they had come to a potentially lethal encounter. The stop was no longer just about identity fraud. It had evolved into a high-risk fugitive takedown, the crimes and their devastating impact. Donald Eugene Fields II was not just an ordinary fugitive. He was wanted for some of the most heinous crimes imaginable, primarily involving child trafficking. The indictment against him painted a disturbing picture of systematic exploitation, detailing his role in recruiting and soliciting a minor for commercial sex acts. These crimes leave behind a trail of lasting devastation, inflicting deep emotional, psychological, and physical scars on victims. The testimony of a survivor in a related case against Fields' associate, Theodore Ted John Sartori Sr., underscored the severe consequences of such abuse. Victims often face lifelong trauma, difficulty forming relationships, and enduring mental health struggles, making clear that these offenses are anything but victimless. The gravity of these crimes is reflected in the sentencing of Sartori, who was already convicted and sentenced to a decade in prison. This conviction serves as a stark reminder of how seriously the justice system treats cases of child trafficking. With Fields now in custody, he faces the prospect of an even harsher punishment. The extensive list of charges against him carries the potential for severe sentences, with the possibility of a life sentence looming over him. His crimes not only warrant significant legal repercussions, but also reinforce the necessity of ensuring justice for the victims. Sentencing guidelines for child trafficking, statutory rape, and witness tampering are among the harshest in the legal system. Due to the severity of these offenses, there is a strong possibility that Fields could receive consecutive sentences, meaning each penalty would be served one after another, resulting in decades, if not a lifetime, behind bars. While judges do exercise discretion, the nature of these crimes and the imperative to protect vulnerable individuals often lead to the maximum allowable punishment. As the case progresses, the evidence will be meticulously examined, and the judicial system will determine Fields' fate in accordance with the law. The FBI's 10 Most Wanted list, a historical perspective. The FBI's 10 Most Wanted list has long been a symbol of law enforcement's relentless pursuit of the nation's most dangerous fugitives. Established in 1950, it has proven to be an invaluable tool in bringing criminals to justice. The fact that Fields was the 531st fugitive added to the list, and the 495th to be captured or located, is a testament to the effectiveness of this system. Many of these apprehensions have been made possible through tips from the public, emphasizing the crucial role that citizen awareness and cooperation play in law enforcement efforts. Beyond its immediate function, the Most Wanted list provides insight into the evolving landscape of crime and justice. Over the decades, it has reflected shifting criminal threats, from notorious bank robbers of the mid-20th century to modern cybercriminals, drug traffickers, and perpetrators of crimes against children. Regardless of the crime, one principle remains unchanged. The individuals on this list represent a significant danger to society, and no matter how long they evade capture, the law will continue to pursue them. While Fields' name on this list underscores the severity of his alleged offenses, it is essential to remember that under the U.S. legal system, he is presumed innocent until proven guilty. The judicial process must take its course, with prosecutors presenting evidence and the courts determining the outcome. However, given the compelling evidence already revealed, the case against him appears formidable. The pursuit of justice. The arrest of Donald Eugene Fields II is a striking example of how law enforcement's diligence, routine procedures, and sharp instincts can lead to the apprehension of high-profile fugitives. A simple traffic stop in Lady Lake, Florida, turned into a major victory in the fight against child exploitation and human trafficking. This case serves as a sobering reminder of the horrors these crimes inflict and the critical need to protect the most vulnerable members of society. If you have any information about fugitives or criminal activity, do not hesitate to contact the FBI. Your tip could play a vital role in bringing criminals to justice. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and remember that justice often begins with the awareness and actions of everyday citizens.